The emergency session of the Galactic Council was unlike any in their long history. Commander Blix stood before the assembled delegates, his proud military bearing replaced by something none of them had ever seen before, humility mixed with fear. "Honored delegates," Blix began, his voice hoarse from the long journey back to council space. "I must report that our mission to the human system has failed completely." The chamber erupted in shocked voices. Ambassador Velthari called for order, his crystal body glowing bright with agitation. "Explain yourself, Commander. How can a diplomatic mission fail so completely?" Blix activated the holographic display, showing recordings from his encounter with the human defense platforms. The delegates watched in stunned silence as 1,000 massive structures appeared from nowhere, surrounding the council fleet like predators circling prey. "The humans were not hiding because they were weak," Blix said quietly. "They were hiding because they were building something beyond our imagination. These platforms make our most advanced ships look like toys." Dr. Zeph's water form bubbled rapidly. "But surely our superior numbers gave us some advantage." Blix laughed bitterly. "Numbers meant nothing. Each platform could have destroyed my entire fleet alone. Instead, they chose to disable every weapon on every ship in exactly 3 seconds. The precision was perfect. The coordination was flawless. And the message was clear. They could have killed us all, but they chose mercy instead." Ambassador Kretal clicked her mandibles nervously. What kind of species builds such power but refuses to use it for conquest? Before Blix could answer, every communication system in the council chamber activated simultaneously. The main screen displayed the image of a distinguished older man with kind eyes and gray hair. Behind him, Earth's blue surface rotated slowly, beautiful and peaceful. "Greetings, Galactic Council," the man said in a calm voice that somehow commanded attention. "I am President Han Kyung-soo of Earth. I believe it is time we spoke directly." The chamber fell completely silent. No species had ever broadcast directly into the Council's most secure facilities. The fact that humans could do so meant their technology was even more advanced than Blix had reported. "For 50 years, President Han continued, we have watched your civilization from the shadows. We have seen how you treat new species, with promises of protection that become chains of control. We chose a different path." Ambassador Lim Yun-hai appeared beside the president on screen. She was an elegant woman with intelligent eyes and the bearing of someone comfortable with power. "I am Ambassador Lim Yun-hai, Earth's first official representative to the galactic community. I come not as a supplicant seeking membership, but as an equal offering partnership." Velthari found his voice. "What do you want from us?" President Han smiled sadly. "We want to offer you something your galaxy has never had. True peace. Not the peace of the strong controlling the weak, but the peace of mutual respect backed by the promise that aggression will be met with overwhelming defense." Secretary Bae Jun-ho joined them on screen. He was a younger man with sharp eyes and the efficient manner of someone who got things done. "The age of conquest is ending. We propose a new model for galactic civilization, one where every species, regardless of size or age, has the right to choose its own path." Commander Blix stepped forward. "What gives you the right to dictate terms to the entire galaxy?" Ambassador Lim's expression became serious. "The same right you claimed when you built your empire, the right of superior capability. The difference is how we choose to use that capability." The screen split to show real-time images from across the galaxy. The delegates gasped as they saw human monitoring stations positioned near every major council world, all previously invisible but now revealing themselves. "We have not been idle during our 50 years of silence," President Han explained. "We have built a defensive network that spans the galaxy. Any species that chooses aggression against any other species will find their ships disabled and their weapons useless." Secretary Bae activated another display showing detailed economic data from across council space. "We have also been studying your economic systems. We know which species are exploited, which resources are monopolized, and which trade agreements are actually slavery contracts." The implications hit the council delegates like a shockwave. If humans could disable any military force and monitor any economic activity, then the entire structure of galactic civilization was obsolete. Dr. Zeph spoke carefully. "What do you propose we do?" Ambassador Lim stepped forward. "We propose a new galactic charter based on simple principles. Every species has the right to self-determination, Every civilization can choose its own path of development, and every world has the right to say no to outside interference. But how do you maintain order? Asked Ambassador Kretal. Without central authority, there will be chaos. President Han's smile was gentle but firm. There will be order because aggressive species will find themselves unable to function. Our platforms are not just defensive, they are enforcement mechanisms for a new kind of peace. The screen changed to show a detailed proposal for galactic reorganization. Instead of the Council's hierarchical system where older species controlled younger ones, the humans proposed a federation of equals where each species contributed according to their abilities and received protection for their sovereignty. Consider the benefits, Secretary Bay explained. No more protection rackets, no more forced integration, no more cultural destruction. Instead, voluntary cooperation, free trade, and mutual defense against external threats. Commander Blix found himself speaking despite his better judgment. And if species refuse to accept this new order? Ambassador Lim's eyes became hard as steel. Then they will find themselves alone in a galaxy where aggression is no longer profitable. Our platforms will ensure that conquest is impossible and exploitation unprofitable. President Han raised his hand for attention. But we do not want to rule you. We want to free you from the cycle of dominance and submission that has trapped this galaxy for millennia. Earth will take its place as one voice among many, not as the supreme authority. The council chamber buzzed with nervous conversations as delegates tried to process what they were hearing. The humans were offering to destroy the existing power structure and replace it with something unprecedented, a truly voluntary galactic community. Belthari stepped forward, speaking for the council. This is a lot to consider. You are asking us to abandon systems that have maintained peace for thousands of years. Have they maintained peace? Ambassador Lim asked. Or have they maintained control? How many species have been absorbed against their will? How many civilizations have lost their identity to cultural integration? How many wars have been fought to maintain the existing hierarchy? President Han's expression became compassionate. We understand this is frightening. Change always is. But we offer you something better than peace through dominance. We offer you peace through justice. Secretary Bay activated one final display. To show our good faith, we are releasing all slaves held by Council species. Our platforms are currently disabling the control systems on every forced labor facility in Council space. Tomorrow, millions of beings will wake up free for the first time in generations. The chamber exploded in chaos as delegates realized the immediate implications. Entire economic systems based on forced labor were collapsing at that very moment. The humans were not just proposing change, they were implementing it. Ambassador Lim waited for quiet before speaking again. Earth formally requests a seat on the Galactic Council, not as a new member seeking approval, but as an equal partner in building a better galaxy. We will use our position to protect the weak and ensure that the strong cannot abuse their power. President Han stood up, his presence filling the screen. The choice is yours, Council. You can accept the new reality and work with us to build something better, or you can resist and find yourselves increasingly irrelevant in a galaxy that no longer tolerates oppression. We will give you time to consider, Ambassador Lim said, but know that the old ways are ending whether you accept it or not. The question is whether you want to be part of building something better or be left behind by history. The transmission ended, leaving the Council in stunned silence. Everything they had believed about power, control, and galactic civilization had been turned upside down in a single conversation. Velithari looked around at his fellow delegates. Some faces showed fear, others anger, but a few showed something he had not seen in centuries. Hope. It seems, Velithari said slowly, that the galaxy has a new teacher. The question now is whether we are wise enough to learn. Commander Blix spoke from personal experience. I have seen their power. It is beyond anything we can fight. But I have also seen their restraint. They could have destroyed us, but they chose to free us instead. As the delegates filed out to consult with their governments, the reality of the situation settled over them. The age of council dominance was ending. The age of human-enforced justice was beginning. And for the first time in galactic history, the strong were using their strength to protect the weak, rather than exploit them. The 1,000 warnings had become 1,000 promises. Promises of a galaxy where every species could choose its own destiny under the... Commander Blix stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Galactic Dominion, watching the human solar system grow larger on his screens. Behind him, 199 other council ships moved in perfect formation. Each ship was a masterpiece of alien engineering, armed with weapons that could crack planets and protected by shields that had never been broken. "Sir," reported his tactical officer, a thin creature with 6 arms and compound eyes, "we are approaching the edge of the human system. No signs of defensive activity. Their primitive sensors probably cannot even detect us yet." Blix smiled, showing his sharp teeth. "Excellent. These humans will learn that the galaxy has rules. No species stands alone against the Council." But as his fleet crossed into the outer edges of Earth's solar system, something impossible appeared on their sensors. Objects began materializing out of empty space, massive structures that had been completely invisible moments before. "Sir," the tactical officer called out, all 6 arms working frantically at his controls, unknown contacts appearing all around us. They're huge." Blix stared at the display in disbelief. 1,000 objects, each the size of a small moon, had appeared in perfect formation around his fleet. They had been there all along, hidden by technology far beyond anything the Council possessed. Captain Im-Soo-jin stood on the bridge of the lead defense platform, Soul's Shield. She was a calm woman with steady hands and eyes that missed nothing. Around her, 50 crew members worked at stations covered with displays showing every detail of the alien fleet. "Tech Specialist John, report," she ordered. John Hosiak looked up from his console. He was young but brilliant, chosen for this position after years of training with alien technologies. "All platforms are operational, Captain. The alien fleet is completely surrounded. Their ships show no hostile action yet, but they have not responded to our warning signals." Im nodded. "Begin the demonstration. Target every weapon system on every ship. Disable only, do not destroy." John's fingers danced over his controls. Around the solar system, 999 other platforms received the same order. In perfect coordination, 1,000 defense systems began targeting the alien fleet. On the Galactic Dominion, alarms started screaming. The tactical officer's compound eyes went wide with terror. "Sir, we're being targeted by every platform simultaneously. They have weapons locked on every ship in the fleet." Commander Blix felt fear creep up his spine. "Impossible. There are only 200 of us. They cannot target us all at once." "Sir," the officer reported, his voice shaking, "they're not just targeting our ships. They're targeting every individual weapon system on every ship. Every gun, every torpedo launcher, every defensive grid. They have separate targeting locks on all of them." The magnitude of what they faced hit Blix like a physical blow. To target every weapon system on 200 ships simultaneously required computational power and sensor precision that no known species possessed. The humans were not just advanced, they were centuries ahead of galactic technology. "Sir," another officer called out, "incoming transmission on all frequencies. They're broadcasting in every known language." The main screen filled with Captain Im's calm face. "Attention, alien fleet. This is Captain Im-Soo-jin of the human defense platform Soul's Shield. You have entered sovereign human space without permission. Withdraw immediately or face defensive action. This is your only warning." Blix stepped forward, his pride overcoming his fear. "I am Commander Blix of the Galactic Council Fleet. We are here on a diplomatic mission. You will stand down and allow us to proceed to your homeworld." Im's expression did not change. "Commander Blix, your diplomatic mission includes 12 ships designed for planetary occupation and control. We have intercepted your communications and know your true intentions. You have 30 seconds to begin withdrawing from our system." "We do not take orders from primitives," Blix roared. "We represent 847 civilizations. You are just one backward planet," Im sighed. "Tech Specialist John, begin the demonstration." What happened next would be remembered in galactic history as the moment everything changed. In exactly 3 seconds, every platform fired simultaneously, but instead of destroying the alien ships, they did something far more impressive and terrifying. Every weapon on every council ship simply stopped working. Torpedo launchers went offline. Energy cannons lost power, shield generators shut down, defensive systems deactivated. In 3 seconds, the most powerful fleet in galactic history became completely helpless. The precision was perfect. Not a single alien was hurt. No ships were destroyed. But 200 of the galaxy's most advanced warships had been turned into flying metal boxes, with no ability to fight or defend themselves. On the Galactic Dominion, every display screen went red with warning messages. The tactical officer stared at his readings in shock. "Sir, every weapon system on every ship has been disabled. Not damaged, disabled. Their targeting systems somehow found weaknesses we did not even know existed." Commander Blix felt his world crashing down around him. The Council's entire power structure was built on military superiority. If humans could disable any fleet without even trying to destroy it, then everything the Council believed about their dominance was wrong. Captain Im appeared on screen again. "Commander Blix, your ships are intact and your crews are safe. We could have destroyed your entire fleet before you even detected our platforms. Consider this a demonstration of human defensive capabilities." Around the solar system, the other platform commanders reported their status. Each platform had successfully disabled multiple ships without causing a single casualty. The coordination was perfect, the execution flawless. Tech specialist Gian looked up from his console. "Captain, all alien weapons are offline. Their ships are defenseless but undamaged. What are your orders?" Im opened a direct channel to Commander Blix. "Commander, your ships have life support, communication, and engines. We have disabled only your weapons and defenses. You can leave our system safely, but you cannot threaten us." Blix stared at the human captain. Everything about this situation went against everything he believed about the galaxy. Stronger species conquered weaker ones. That was the natural order. But these humans had demonstrated strength beyond anything he could imagine, yet they chose not to destroy their enemies. "Why?" Blix asked, his voice barely a whisper. "Why did you not destroy us?" Im's expression softened slightly. "Because destroying you would make us conquerors just like the Council. We built these platforms to defend our independence, not to rule others. We want to show the galaxy that there is another way to be strong." The communication channel filled with reports from other Council ships. Every captain reported the same thing. All weapons disabled, all defenses down, but no casualties and no permanent damage. The humans had demonstrated the ability to defeat any known military force while refusing to cause unnecessary harm. Commander Blix made the hardest decision of his military career. "All ships prepare for withdrawal. We are returning to Council space immediately." "A wise choice, Commander," Im said. "Your weapons will remain offline until you leave our system. Once you cross back into neutral space, your systems will automatically restore themselves." As the Council fleet began its retreat, Blix stared at the displays showing the 1,000 human platforms. Each one was larger and more advanced than his flagship. Each one could probably defeat his entire fleet single-handedly. Yet they had chosen to simply disable his weapons and send him home. "Sir," his tactical officer said quietly, "should we report what happened here?" Blix thought about the shame of returning to the Council with tales of defeat. But he also thought about the incredible restraint the humans had shown. They could have been conquerors, but they chose to be protectors instead. "Yes," he said finally. "We will report everything. The Council needs to know that the galaxy just changed forever." Captain Im watched the alien fleet retreat. Around her, the crew of Soul Shield celebrated their successful mission. But Im felt no joy in victory. She understood that this demonstration, while necessary, marked the end of Earth's isolation and the beginning of a new era in galactic politics. "Tech Specialist Gian," she said, "send a message to Earth Command. The demonstration was successful. The alien fleet is withdrawing, and the galaxy now knows that humanity will not be pushed around." John nodded and began composing the message. As he worked, he asked, "Captain, what do you think happens next?" Im looked out at the stars, thinking about the thousands of species across the galaxy who had heard about this day. Some would be inspired by humanity's restraint. Others would be terrified by humanity's power. But all would know that the old rules of galactic civilization no longer applied. "What happens next," Im said quietly, "is up to them. We have shown that we can defend ourselves. Now we wait to see if the galaxy chooses peace or war." The 1,000 warnings had been delivered. The choice of how to respond belonged to the rest of the galaxy. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with nervous energy. Ambassador Velthari had called an emergency session after receiving something unprecedented. The first official communication from Earth in over 50 years. but it was not the friendly greeting everyone expected. "Honored delegates," Velthari announced, his crystal body reflecting the worried faces around him. "3 hours ago, we received this data package from the human homeworld. I must warn you, what you are about to see will shock you." Commander Blix leaned forward in his chair, his red scales catching the light. "What kind of tricks are these primitives trying to play?" Velthari activated the main display screen. Immediately, detailed star charts appeared showing every council member's territory. But these were not the public maps available to all species. These showed secret military bases, hidden research stations, and classified trade routes that were supposed to be known only to the highest levels of each government. Dr. Zeph's water form began bubbling rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation among his species. How did they obtain this information? These locations are protected by our highest security protocols. The display changed to show military fleet compositions. Every ship, every weapon, every defensive capability of every council species was listed in perfect detail. Worse, the files included tactical assessments of weaknesses and vulnerabilities that even some council members did not know about their own forces. Ambassador Cretel of the Mithari clicked her mandibles in distress. "This shows the location of our emergency bunkers on the homeworld. If this information fell into the wrong hands, it gets worse," Velthari said grimly. He activated another section of the human data package. Suddenly, audio recordings filled the chamber, recordings of private council meetings from the past 50 years. The delegates heard their own voices discussing secret deals, military plans, and political schemes they thought no one else knew about. Commander Blix's voice came through the speakers from a meeting 5 years earlier. "The Helian species has resources we need. If they refuse our protection treaty, we can always arrange for pirate attacks on their trade routes. They will beg to join us for safety." The current Blix turned pale beneath his scales. That conversation was supposed to have been completely private, held in the most secure chamber on the station. The recordings continued. Species after species heard their leaders' voices discussing how to control new members, how to strip their resources, and how to prevent them from becoming too independent. The beautiful words about peace and cooperation that they spoke in public were replaced by cold calculations about power and profit. Director Choi Sang-wook's face appeared on the main screen. He was a stern-looking man with gray hair and eyes that seemed to see everything. Behind him, Earth's blue surface was visible through a window. "Greetings, Galactic Council," Choi said in a calm voice that somehow made his words more frightening. "I am Director Choi Sang-wook of Earth's Strategic Intelligence Division. For 50 years we have been watching you. We have been listening to you, and we have been learning from you." The chamber fell completely silent. Even the constant background hum of the station's system seemed to fade away. "You wonder how we obtained this information," Choi continued. "The answer is simple. We have been present at every council meeting, every secret negotiation, and every private discussion for the past 50 years. Not physically, of course. We are far more subtle than that." Admiral Lee Yeonju appeared beside Choi on the screen. She was a small woman with the bearing of someone who had commanded fleets in battle. "Our surveillance network spans the galaxy. Every council ship, every major space station, every important planet has been monitored by our systems. You never saw us because we did not want to be seen." Dr. Kang Seoko joined them on screen. He looked like a professor, but his eyes held the sharp intelligence of a master spy. "We studied your languages, your cultures, your technologies, and your methods. We learned that the Galactic Council is not the peaceful alliance you claim to be. It is a sophisticated system of control that enslaves new species under the pretense of protection." Commander Blix stood up angrily. "Impossible. Our security is perfect. No primitive species could penetrate our defenses." Choi smiled coldly. "Commander Blix, would you like us to play the recording of your private conversation with Admiral Thekvar last month? The one where you discussed using biological weapons on species that refuse to cooperate? Or perhaps you would prefer the files showing your secret deals with slave traders in the Outer Rim?" Blix sat down quickly, his face showing fear for the first time in centuries. "We know about the protection rackets," Admiral Lee said. "We know about the forced labor agreements. We know about the cultural destruction programs disguised as integration assistance. We have seen what happens to species that trust you." The council chamber erupted in chaos. Delegates shouted at each other in dozens of languages. Some demanded to know how their security had been compromised. Others accused neighboring species of sharing secrets with the humans. A few wise ones sat quietly, realizing that the balance of power in the galaxy had just shifted dramatically. Velthari used his authority to restore order. "Silence. Let the humans finish their message," Dr. Kang continued. "Your fleet of 200 ships, commanded by Commander Blix, is currently approaching our solar system. You call this a diplomatic mission, but we have intercepted your real orders. You plan to establish permanent bases on our planet and force us to accept Council membership. We must respectfully decline," Director Choi said. "Earth chooses to remain independent. We suggest you recall your fleet immediately." Commander Blix laughed harshly. "You think your primitive planet can threaten the combined might of the Galactic Council? We have ships that can destroy entire moons." Admiral Lee's smile was not pleasant. "Commander, your ships are indeed powerful, but they were designed to fight other Council species using Council technology and Council tactics. We are not a Council species." The screen split to show real-time images of Blix's approaching fleet. The 200 ships looked impressive as they moved through space in perfect formation. But then the human display began marking weaknesses in their formation, vulnerabilities in their shields, and blind spots in their sensor coverage. "Your ships have fatal flaws that you have never noticed," Dr. Kang explained, "because all Council species use the same basic technologies. You have been fighting each other for so long that you have forgotten how to defend against truly different approaches." Director Choi stepped forward. "This data package is your first and only warning. Withdraw your fleet from our solar system immediately. Any attempt to enter human space without permission will be met with defensive action. We do not wish to fight you," Admiral Lee added, "but we are prepared to defend ourselves with capabilities you cannot imagine. Do not test our resolve." The transmission ended, leaving the Council chamber in stunned silence. For the first time in their history, a species had not only refused to join the Council, but had demonstrated the intelligence capabilities to potentially destroy it. Ambassador, Velthari felt the weight of 2,000 years of galactic history pressing down on him. Everything the Council believed about their superiority, their security, and their control over the galaxy had just been shattered by a species they had dismissed as primitive. Commander Blix's voice shook with rage and fear. "We cannot allow this insult to stand. I will not recall my fleet. These humans will learn to respect the Council's authority." Dr. Zeph's form glowed with worry. "Commander, perhaps we should consider their warning. If they truly have the intelligence capabilities they claim, it's a bluff," Blix snapped. "No single planet can challenge the entire galaxy. I will proceed with the mission and teach these humans their place in the cosmic order." Velthari made a decision that would change galactic history. "Commander Blix, you have your orders. Proceed to the human system, but be extremely careful. If these humans are even half as capable as they claim, your fleet may be in serious danger." As the Council session ended, Velthari stared at the star charts showing the location of Earth. For 50 years, they had assumed that silence meant weakness. Now he wondered if silence had meant something far more dangerous: preparation. In 6 hours, Commander Blix's fleet would enter the human solar system. In 6 hours, the galaxy would learn whether Earth's warnings were empty threats or promises of unprecedented power. The Council had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years by controlling information, technology, and fear, but now they faced an enemy that had turned their own weapons against them, an enemy that knew all their secrets while revealing none of their own. The Age of Council. Supremacy was about to be tested by a species that had spent 50 years learning how to win. Captain Ko Min Seo led Dr. Nam through the heart of Baekdu Station. The corridors were wide and filled with the soft hum of advanced technology. People in strange uniforms moved with purpose, carrying data tablets and speaking in quiet voices. Nam noticed that everyone seemed to know exactly what they were doing, like pieces of a well-oiled machine. "This station has been humanity's eyes and ears for 50 years, Ko explained as they walked. "We have watched civilizations rise and fall. We have seen wars that destroyed entire star systems, and we have learned that the galaxy is not the peaceful place the aliens pretend it to be." They entered a huge room filled with screens showing star maps, alien ships, and streams of data. At the center sat Lieutenant Park Ji-won, a young woman with sharp eyes and quick fingers that danced across multiple keyboards at once. She looked up when Ko approached. Captain, the alien fleet is moving faster than expected, Park said. Commander Blix has increased their speed. They will reach our solar system in 6 days instead of 10. Ko frowned. What changed their minds? I intercepted their latest communications, Park replied, touching her screen to show alien text with human translations below. The Council voted to make this a priority diplomatic mission. Some of the older species are getting impatient with our silence. Dr. Nam stared at the alien writing. It looked like musical notes mixed with mathematical equations. You can read their language? Engineer Yu Dae-sung looked up from a nearby workstation. He was a big man with gentle hands that seemed too large for the delicate equipment he worked with. We can read 17 different alien languages, Dr. Nam, and we speak 8 of them fluently. How is that possible? Nam asked. Ko gestured to the screens around them. Because we have been listening for a very long time. Come, let me show you something. They moved to another section where Dr. Song Hye-jin worked, surrounded by holographic displays of alien creatures. The displays showed detailed biological information, how they breathed, what they ate, how their societies worked. Song was a small woman with bright eyes who seemed to know everything about every species in the galaxy. Dr. Nam, Song said, turning from her work, meet the Galactic Council. These are the creatures who want to welcome us into their community. She touched a control and the displays changed to show a timeline of galactic history. 50 years ago, when we first detected alien signals, our leaders made a smart choice. Instead of announcing ourselves, we decided to watch and learn. The timeline showed species after species making contact with the Galactic Council. At first, each new member seemed happy to join the galactic community. But as years passed, Song's data showed a different story. Look at the Varen, Song said, pointing to a display showing blue-skinned humanoids. They were explorers and artists. Their culture created beautiful music that could be heard across space. But after joining the council, they stopped exploring. They stopped creating. Now they mine resources for older species and follow orders. Another display showed the Kethmar, a species that looked like living metal. They invented new forms of mathematics that helped other species understand the universe better. But the council decided their knowledge was too dangerous for younger species. Now the Kethmar work in factories making simple tools. Nam felt sick as he watched species after species lose their independence. The council controls them? Not directly, Ko said. They use something much more clever. They call it guided development. New species get protection from cosmic dangers, access to advanced technology, and membership in the galactic community. In return, they agree to follow council rules about what they can research, where they can travel, and how they can grow. Park called out from her station, Captain, I'm getting new intelligence from our deep space monitors. The council is not just sending ships to talk to us. Ko hurried over to look at Park's screens. What did you find? Commander Blix's fleet includes 12 ships designed for planetary occupation, Park said. They call them cultural integration vessels. If we refuse to cooperate, they plan to land on Earth and establish permanent bases. The room fell silent. Nam looked around at the serious faces of the station crew. These people had dedicated their lives to protecting Earth, and now their worst fears were coming true. Engineer Yu spoke first. How long do we have? 6 days until they reach the edge of our solar system, Park replied. Maybe 8 days until they try to land on Earth. Ko walked to the center of the room, her command presence filling the space. Then it's time to activate the grid. Dr. Nam had never heard that term before. What's the grid? Song smiled for the first time since Nam had arrived. The grid is humanity's insurance policy. While the aliens thought we were just a primitive species hiding on one planet, we were actually building the most advanced defense network in galactic history. Ko touched a control panel, and the main screen changed to show their solar system. But instead of the empty space Nam expected, the display revealed something incredible. Hundreds of objects, each the size of a small moon, surrounded the solar system in perfect geometric patterns. 1,000 defense platforms, Ko said proudly, each one more powerful than anything the Galactic Council has ever built. We call them our 1,000 warnings. Nam's mouth fell open. When did we build these? How did we build these? Yu laughed. Dr. Nam, what do you think humanity has been doing for the last 50 years? While other species were busy following council rules, we were innovating. We took their technology and made it better. We studied their weapons and built defenses they cannot break. But how did you keep it secret? Nam asked. Park answered from her station. The same way we kept this station secret. Advanced cloaking technology that bends light and sensor beams around objects. The aliens have been looking right at our defenses for decades without seeing them. Ko turned back to the main screen. Each platform is operated by a crew of 50 specialists. They have been training their entire lives for this moment. Captain Im Soo-jin commands the flagship platform Soul's Shield. Song pulled up technical specifications that made Nam's head spin. The platforms can track and target 10,000 objects simultaneously. Their weapons can disable any known alien technology without destroying it, and their defenses can withstand attacks from entire fleets. Why not just destroy the alien ships? Nam asked. Ko's expression became serious. Because that would make us conquerors just like them. We built these platforms to defend, not to attack. We want to show the galaxy that there is another way to be strong. Park's station beeped with an urgent signal. Captain, I'm receiving a priority message from Earth Command. President Han Kyung-soo wants to speak with you immediately. Ko nodded. Put him through. The main screen changed to show a middle-aged man with kind eyes and gray hair. Nam recognized him as Earth's president but had never seen him look so serious. Captain Ko, the president said, I have just received reports from our deep space monitors. The alien fleet is approaching. Are we ready? Yes, Mr. President, Ko replied. The grid is operational and our crews are at their stations. We can activate the platforms at your command. President Han paused, looking tired. I had hoped this day would never come. For 50 years we have built our strength in secret, hoping that staying hidden would be enough. But it seems the galaxy will not let us choose our own path. What are your orders, sir? Ko asked. Activate the grid, President Han said. It's time to show the Galactic Council that Earth is not helpless. But remember, we defend, we do not attack. We are still trying to build a better galaxy, not rule it. Ko saluted. Understood, Mr. President. As the transmission ended, Ko turned to her crew. You heard the President. All stations prepare to activate the 1,000 warnings. Send word to every platform crew. In 6 days we make first contact with the galaxy, but we do it on our terms. Nam watched as the station burst into controlled activity. After 50 years of watching and waiting, humanity was finally ready to reveal itself to the galaxy. But they would not reveal themselves as supplicants or victims. They would reveal themselves as equals, protected by the most advanced defense network ever built. The silent watchers were about to speak. The massive space station floated like a metal city in the darkness between stars. Its lights blinked in patterns that showed ships coming and going from every corner of the galaxy. Inside the great meeting hall, creatures of all shapes and sizes sat in their special chairs. Some looked like giant crystals that sang when they talked. Others had scales like dragons from old Earth stories. A few glowed with their own light, and some needed special suits just to breathe. Ambassador Velthari stood at the center of the room. His crystal body caught the light and threw rainbow colors across the walls. He had been the chairman of the Galactic Council for 300 years. In all that time, he had never been as frustrated as he was today. Friends and allies, Velthari began, his voice making musical notes that the translation machines turned into words. We meet today for the 2,847th time. And once again, we must talk about the Earth problem. A low rumble went through the hall. Commander Blix, a large reptile with red scales and sharp teeth, slammed his clawed hand on his desk. Enough talk. Those humans think they are too good for us. They ignore every message we send. They act like we do not exist. Dr. Zeph, a creature that looked like flowing water in a glass suit, made bubbling sounds. Perhaps they are afraid. Many young species fear contact with older civilizations. Afraid? Blix laughed, showing all his teeth. They have faster-than-light ships. Our scouts have seen them. They travel between stars just like we do, but they refuse to answer when we try to talk to them. Velthari raised one crystal hand for quiet. The humans achieved space travel 47 years ago. In that time, they have built cities on their moon and stations around their sun. They mine rocks in space and have ships that can cross their entire star system in days, yet they will not speak to us. Far away on a small blue planet in the Orion arm of the galaxy, Dr. Nam Tae-ho sat in his office at Seoul National Observatory. Charts and computer screens covered every wall. He studied the strange signals that came from deep space. The government called them space anomalies, but Nam knew better. He had been tracking alien communications for 15 years. Nam picked up a cup of cold coffee and stared at the newest data. The signals were getting stronger. More ships were moving through space near Earth's solar system. Whatever was out there, it was getting closer. His computer beeped. A new message appeared on the screen, marked with the highest security codes. Nam's hands shook a little as he opened it. The message was from Captain Ko Min Seo, commander of humanity's most secret space station. Dr. Nam, the message read, please come to Baekdu Station immediately. Bring all your alien communication files. We need to talk. Nam had never been to Baekdu Station. Few people even knew it existed. Hidden in the cold, dark edge of the solar system, it watched the stars and listened to alien voices. Nam gathered his most important files and headed for the secret transport that would take him there. Back at the Galactic Council, the debate continued. Species after species stood up to complain about Earth's silence. The Mathari, who looked like giant insects, clicked their mandibles angrily. The Yoshan, blob-like creatures from gas giant planets, glowed bright red with frustration. We have tried everything, said Ambassador Kretal of the Mathari. We sent gifts. We sent simple mathematical messages. We even sent pictures showing peace and friendship. Nothing works, Velthari nodded sadly. The humans receive our messages. Our technicians are sure of this. Their equipment is advanced enough to decode our signals, but they choose not to answer. Commander Blick stood up again. His huge form cast a shadow over nearby delegates. I say we stop asking nicely. We are the Galactic Council. We represent 847 civilizations across this galaxy. No single planet should ignore us, and what do you suggest? Asked Dr. Zeft. Blix's eyes glowed with an evil light. We send ships, not to attack, but to encourage better communication. Sometimes young species need to understand how the galaxy really works. Many delegates nodded agreement. The galaxy had rules, after all. Every species that achieved space travel was expected to join the council. It was tradition. It was law, and it kept the peace between the stars. Velthari felt torn. He believed in peaceful contact, but Earth's continued silence was becoming a real problem. Other young species watched what happened with humans. If Earth could ignore the council without consequences, maybe others would try the same thing. Very well, Velthari said at last. Commander Blix, you may prepare an exploration fleet. 200 ships should be enough to get their attention. But remember, this is a diplomatic mission. We seek communication, not conquest. Blix smiled, showing his sharp teeth. Of course, Ambassador. Just friendly communication. On Earth, Dr. Nam traveled through space for 2 days to reach Baekdu Station. The station looked like a small moon, but it was covered with strange metal shapes that seemed to bend light around them. As Nam's ship docked, he realized the station was much bigger than it looked from outside. Captain Ko Min Seo met him at the airlock. She was a serious woman with kind eyes and short black hair. Her uniform was different from anything Nam had seen before. It had patches showing Earth and the stars, but also symbols he did not recognize. Dr. Nam, thank you for coming, she said, shaking his hand. I know this is confusing, but we need your help. How much do you know about what we really do here? Nam looked around at the advanced technology filling the station corridors. I thought you just watched for asteroids and space weather. Ko smiled sadly. We do much more than that. Come with me. It's time you learned the truth about what's happening in our galaxy. As they walked deeper into the station, Nam saw things that amazed him. Huge screens showed star maps with thousands of moving dots. Computer systems processed data streams from across the galaxy, and everywhere, people worked quietly at tasks he could not begin to understand. Dr. Nam, Ko said as they reached her command center. For 50 years, we have been watching alien civilizations. We know about their Galactic Council. We know about their wars, their trade, their politics, and we know they are coming here. Nam felt his heart beat faster. Coming here, why? Ko pointed to a large screen showing their solar system. Red dots marked the positions of alien ships moving toward Earth. Because we never answered their messages. Because we chose to stay hidden. And because they think they can force us to join their club. What do we do? Nam asked. Ko's eyes became hard as steel. We get ready to show them that Earth is not as helpless as they think.